When I came into the industry some 20 years ago, yeah, the average age of a landlord back then was 55. Is some of the exit to do with age and people wanting to retire now and using, and they've made their money, they're looking at the market and thinking, definitely, I've made my money. But where are these new landlords? Why aren't new landlords coming in? You with me?
Yep.
Because it looks attractive, doesn't it? 10% on average rent increase over the last 12 months. 7 to 10 inquiries per rented property. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you and I were first in this industry, we were all looking for ways of finding tenants, mm-hmm, not turning tenants away. So is this all about the government and the strategy, or is it about actually this is a natural cycle in a booming industry?
That's a really good point. I think you're bang on with that point. I think it's the government piece is part of it.
Yeah.
But I think this is just like a rationalisation and consolidation of a market that is shifting from high leverage capital growth chasing returns to one of cash flow focus.
Absolutely.
So because again, the joy of investing in residential property isn't, well, it was house price growth, but over the long run, rents track earnings. And what does every pensioner want? What does every pension fund want?
What an income.
It wants its liabilities matched to its income. So again, this is why you're seeing, and I think there are new investors coming in, and they want to buy easier to manage properties with lower running costs, where the cash flow is super predictable, just steadily rising. That's what every pension investor wants. But you're right, there's a lot of older landlords who are probably sitting on huge paper gains, big tax liabilities, probably got into it by accident or just bought a few properties, but they're into serious financial planning mode, which is... Do I start selling some of these sort of more home ownership type properties, harder to manage, pay down my debt, maybe help the kids get on the housing ladder? So I think the private rental sector's been static in size for the last 5 years because effectively the landlords selling up are being offset by the people coming in. And so we've had a big increase in corporate investment. But I think you're right. We've got a consolidation of the market happening. It's probably coming to the end of the road on that now. It's probably going to get slower. I think the government stuff is part of the mix of higher rates and the shift, basically. Yeah. And I'm afraid I don't see that really changing. They're going to keep going on quality. And then we've got the old EPC changes, which is the next sort of shoe to drop or penny to drop on that, which...
And the info on that's been quite sketchy, to say the least, hasn't it?
Because just to finish that train of thought, that part of the conversation is that if landlords are now looking to exit, and we've had that discussion that traditionally landlords had better access to capital, interest rates are going up, so first-time buyers, second-time buyers are having to pay significantly more in mortgage if they buy those. Where are these homes going?
Well, I think the stuff that's being sold...
They're not being stuck, they're not unoccupied, are they? Just sitting there?
It's typically home ownership property. I think it's the accidental landlords that are getting out because they never were in it for the cash flow and as a business, which is why I've seen so many properties put into limited companies. That's the cash flow side of life, basically. It's dividends, etc. So I think it's the accidental landlords looking to sell, and they're being bought in the market. We're seeing a drop-off in the number of landlords looking to sell now, which you would expect as the housing market weakens.
They might as well hang on to it.
That's slowing.
Well, I mean, if they don't need to sell, they shouldn't sell. I mean, obviously, their biggest threat is capital gains, obviously.
It is.
You're watching The Property Cast, powered by the award-winning Total Landlord Insurance.